After a year out, he takes on Pawel, Stepien, and as you can see there, the Lonsdale belt will be up for grabs for the very first time in women's boxing as Lauren Price battles it out with Kirsty Babington. It is going to be a cracking night. How much are you looking forward to it, Andy?
Yeah, really looking forward to it because you look at the card, and if you're brutally honest about it, the fighters on the left-hand side, they're the favourites, and if they perform in the way that we know that they can, or that we hope that they should win. But if they don't, then they'll be in trouble. And that's really what this card is about, because Stepien is a good fighter.
Yep.
And you look at his demeanour this week, he means business. He's here to win. He's in shape. Kirsty Babington, same thing. I was talking to Jordan Grant up against Ben Whittaker. He knows what a big opportunity this is. Macaulay McGowan's been all business all week. And it's the same with
yesterday at the press conference, wasn't he?
Sean McCoon, Casey Benjamin, everybody below that too. There's massive opportunities here for everybody involved.
And a chance for Joshua Buatsi to remind us all what he can do, because we haven't seen him for a year, have we, in the ring. Throughout his career, when we announced him, when he turned pro, there was a lot of fanfare, wasn't there? A lot of hype surrounding Joshua Buatsi. But to say he's been inactive, it's a bit of an understatement, isn't it? Do you think that will affect things? How will that sort of play out tomorrow night?
I mean, there could definitely be a little bit of rust there, but I think he'll be very eager to impress. Yeah. I think that he's got to guard against not trying too hard and trying to force things, trying to make a statement. I think just go in there, establish the jab, and just let everything flow. Don't force it. He's a great fighter. He's a brilliant fighter. Someone I believe, and always did believe, will become a world champion. I think he's, the business. He's just got to get moving, and it's frustrating when you're inactive. It's frustrating when you've had injuries. You want everyone talking about you. You feel like you're the forgotten man, which he has become a little bit. But, hopefully Saturday night is the start of, the next phase of his career.
Yeah, Johnny, talking about the frustration, we've got Dan Aziz with us tomorrow night. He's watched, hasn't he, the likes of Dan Aziz, who he knows very, very well, known him for years, sparred many rounds with him. He's watched the likes of Dan be active and sort of come through. Can you relate to that sort of frustration?
Totally. I think there'd be professional jealousy no matter what, no matter how friendly they are. I think there's an excuse if the performance isn't on par Saturday night because of that inactivity. I think there'll be more frustration than anything else. On a professional basis, this man has now taken his career into his own hands. So he looks at your Dan Aziz, and as far as he's concerned, he said it yesterday, I'm the best in Britain. That we're all here. I'm the best here. So therefore, I'm the guy you need to be talking about. I should be the head honcho. So Saturday night is a chance for him to re-establish himself and to remind everybody who he is. And he needs to create consistency for people to believe who he is.
And Stepien, he's highly ranked, isn't he? What kind of problems, or any problems, can you see him giving Joshua Buatsi tomorrow evening?
I like him. When you watch him, he does everything pretty well. He's got good feet. He takes his feet with him everywhere he goes, which might sound like a bit of a strange thing to say, but he doesn't overbalance when he throws. He knows what he's doing. He throws good, solid combinations. He looks to kind of work in a tight circle around you. He's happy to give you the centre of the ring, but he's never too far away from you, so he will be ambitious. Decent upper body movement, solid hand position when it comes to protecting himself, so he does everything really pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar in a way to the fight we saw him have against Marko Calic, if you remember that one, where Calic gave it a real good crack.
Yeah.
And it was a tough fight for the first half, and then Buatsi got on top of him. And I wouldn't be disappointed either if that's what we see, because people do want to see Josh make a bit of a statement and kind of, you look at those London boys, him and Yard and Dan Aziz and Craig Richards. Dan's kind of got a lot of publicity recently, done really well. Anthony's had a couple of world title fights, did well against Beterbiev, and Josh, like Johnny says, has been in the background just kind of waiting for his chance, so he'll want to impress.
Because of the sort of inactivity, the year out, how much pressure is on his shoulders to impress, that he needs to deliver that statement? Do you think he does, Matt?
Yeah, I do. But it's important that he doesn't try, and he's got to get that out of his head a little bit and just focus on.
Because you can try too hard.
Oh, absolutely. If you tighten up and you start trying to force things, everything goes pear-shaped. So he's got to relax. He's got to be totally focused and switched on, but relaxed at the same time. The fight Andy mentioned there, challenge, that was a tough fight for Josh. He had to come through adversity in that fight. He got caught, his eye. I was impressed with him that night because he showed me he's got that bit inside him that he can dig down deep if he has to. And maybe he'll have to do that on Saturday night. But I think as long as he's the Josh that we know, then I think he comes through it.
I know we can actually talk about the perfections or imperfections inside the ring, but now in this position now, he needs to also build his brand outside the ring. Yesterday's press conference was more or less Ben Whittaker. And so,
but is that not just Joshua Buatsi? Because we talked about this, didn't we, yesterday? Can he be like Ben?
You know what?
Does he need to be like Ben?
He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn to let people... Dan Aziz, they're talking about him. Dan Aziz, there's a bit of a character about him. There's something about him. Joshua is polite, he's respectful, he just wants to fight, and I totally get that, to be authentic in our sport. But now it's business. The business is he needs us to be talking about him after a press conference. He needs us to be talking about him when he's not even fighting, because we were talking about a guy, Ben Whittaker, that's not even at that level. So if Josh Buatsi had Ben Whittaker's personality or mouth or attention, this guy would be probably 10, 20 steps ahead of where he is now. So we understand how good he is inside the ring. Now he needs to work on his personality outside the ring.
Do you agree, Matt? Do you think we need to see more from Joshua outside the ring? Do we need to see more of his personality?
I mean, ideally, but I don't think he should be inauthentic, and he's not really his personality. He's not an outgoing extrovert, is he?
Don't be shy about coming forward.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. But exactly. So, look, I think Josh's profile and reputation is going to grow by being active, by fighting.
He's very much a man that just wants to do the talking in the ring, isn't he? I don't think he seems to be that fussed about anything outside of the ring. He's kind of that switch gets flicked, doesn't it, on fight night? When that happens, we don't really know, and I don't think he even really knows. But that's who Josh is, isn't it? He's the nicest man outside of the ring, but an absolute demon inside.
Yeah, he is. But Johnny's right. He does need to maybe have people's names in his mouth a little bit more. And there are dance partners out there. Callum Smith's got to fight against Artur Beterbiev, so those 3 belts are taken care of. Bivol will have his...
He said he's quite fancies the winner of that one.
Well, of course he does, but in the meantime, he's going to have to fight. And, I mentioned Dan Aziz. Obviously, he's with the same approach. Dan will fight anyone. Anthony Yard, they know each other, these boys, and they're all happy to get it on. There are dance partners out there, so let's dance. They've got to start dancing. Because if they don't, then, what are we here for?
Andre Ward is your prime example. An unbelievable fighter, outstanding fighter. But he probably could have been more of a household name if he just added that little bit of something extra to his personality outside the ring.
Another example, Joe Calzaghe. Right, Joe Calzaghe, when Naz was coming through and banging everyone out, Naz was Naz, and Joe was trying to think, well, that works, that's the way to sell yourself, and he was going, I'm the best man, and it just didn't work because it wasn't Joe. You've got to be authentic. Everyone's got their way of being marketed, and I suppose that's boxers' job, because they're the promoters. They've just got to think, how do we market Joshua Buatsi? And really, it's to make the big fights, because he's good enough to fight anyone. Make the fights. Isn't
that going to be the interesting thing then, post-fight tomorrow, to see what Josh, should he come through it, see what he does tomorrow night, whether we are going to see that from Joshua Buatsi, which we haven't really particularly seen before?
Yeah, I think I don't think he's really... It doesn't lack confidence, Josh. He's not a shy, retiring guy.
He's a quietly confident person.
He's quiet because he's got so much confidence.
Yeah.
He's one of them. He completely believes in himself, and that's why he doesn't feel the need to really say anything. And I think people maybe don't understand that about him sometimes. But I agree with everything that's been said here. He needs to be authentic, but there are fights out there for him. Let's have that fight with Dan Aziz. Let's call out Anthony Yard.
By the way, I don't think calling someone out is inauthentic. I'm just saying he doesn't have to be. He's never going to be a Nassim Ahmed type.
But we did see glimpses yesterday when I asked him about where he ranks himself in the UK. He was straight in there saying number 1. I asked him who he thought number 2 was, and he just said, I don't really care. You are seeing glimpses come through. Perhaps we might need to see it a bit more. Let's just talk a quick word on Ben Whittaker, because they are polar opposites, aren't they? We very much saw that yesterday. I mean, Ben, at his first press conference, when we announced he was turning pro, he was calling out the media, wasn't he? Telling them to be quiet. He's not backwards and coming forward.
He's a promoter's dream, because you don't even have to promote him. He promotes himself. Joshua Boxer are going to have to work hard with Joshua Buatsi. They're not going to have to work hard with Ben. He's going to sell himself.
That's a good thing, I guess, is that?
Yeah, I mean
he's going to be Marmite, isn't he? I'm sure there'll be people out there that maybe...
But they'll all be talking about him.
Exactly, and I guess that's exactly what you need to do, and that's kind of what you're saying, I guess, Johnny, a little bit.
Yeah, no, he's good at it as well, because sometimes people do that and they don't really pull it off. I suspect away from the cameras he's probably not really like that, but when the cameras are on, he totally commits to it, and you have to, because there are no half measures if you walk that road. You know, you can't walk down the middle of the street. You've got to absolutely do it or not do it.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy him. Right, it is all about the weigh-in today, so let's get proceedings underway and hand you over to Big Mo for the introductions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official weigh-ins for Crowning Glory. Tomorrow night, live at the Resorts World Arena here in Birmingham, England. Promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxer, presented live on Sky Sports. We would like to thank the official provider of today's weigh-ins, Wow Hydrate, as well as our other sponsors, Bet365, Everlast, and Village Hotels. We have 8 bouts on the card tomorrow night, all of which will be presented here today to weigh in. We begin with our opening bout, scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first to the scales, fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to us from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, introducing Christian Lopez Flores. Official weight 9 stone, 8 pounds, 5 ounces for Christian Flores. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he comes to us with an undefeated record of 8 victories versus no defeats. Fighting out of Leamington Spa, England, here is Danny Quartermain.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and take it slowly. Ready
Official weight 9 stone, 5 pounds for Danny Quartermain.
Gonna find you and make you.
4 rounds then at lightweight between Danny Quartermain and Christian Lopez Flores. Quartermain, he's a popular fighter, this one, Johnny. 8-0, undefeated from Leamington Spa. What are you looking forward to in this fight?
You know, I love seeing fights at this stage of career, the development, the early stages, the baby stages, and
the hungry
stages, and it's a pity you can't kind of fast forward and see what their appetite and their speed, their talk is like when it comes to 5 or 6 fights down the line. But as long as he stays young, hungry, doesn't let the attention, the popularity get to his head, stays on the right track, then only time will tell his story.
Christian Flores. Danny Quartermain.
It will be looking to grab the limelight tomorrow night, surely, Matt.
Sorry, say it again, Anna.
I knew you were going to say that. We're back to this, aren't we? I said for Quartermain, he'll be looking to grab the limelight, I'm sure, tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, of course. Every undercard fighter wants to steal the show if they can. A bit of a stare down there.
He's from a strong gym, Danny Quartermain, because he's got Edwin Cleary in his corner up in Leamington, who's got Matty Harris, who's doing well at heavyweight, Lewis Williams, who got a Commonwealth gold medal up on the GB setup. So, you know, that gym's really looking good.
Great to speak to you, Big Bill, for you, a big platform. Just how excited are you, and what sort of performance do you want to produce tomorrow?
No, it's the biggest fight of my career so far. Really excited about tomorrow, and obviously being a massive crowd with me from Leamington Spa. Just here to put Leamington back on the boxing mat, really. So yeah.
He's a tough man. He has been stopped only 4 times, never by a Brit. How desperate would you be to be the first man to do that?
No, it'd be a privilege to do so. We'll just go out there, stick to the game plan, box as well as we can, and we'll see what the outcome is tomorrow, but it will definitely be a win.
Good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Our next contest, ladies and gentlemen, is a rematch scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first to the scales, he'll be fighting out of the blue corner tomorrow night from Brighouse, England, with a professional record of 14 victories versus just 1 loss. Here is Jimmy the Fist first.
Well, Andy, this was a fun fight, wasn't it, in Bournemouth? It became, this is basically the rematch of that, it became all about the saga of a gum shield, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never really seen anything quite like it. Because
it was so strange.
It was really, really odd. As Matt was saying on commentary, Jimmy First looks in great shape. He's an extraordinary character, Jimmy First. Johnny bumped into him in Cuba on his holidays. He was out there sparring over Christmas, but it did become all about the gum shield. And Matt was saying during the fight, he wasn't spitting it out. I was saying, Matt, during the original encounter between these two, you were saying he wasn't spitting it out, Corey Gibbs, so you could see why the referee was as patient as he was, but he just couldn't keep it in his mouth, and that did become the story of the fight. We felt like Corey Gibbs had probably just about done enough despite the 3 penalty points, but you could see that they were losing patience.
Yeah, definitely.
11 pounds for Corey Gibbs.
Yeah, just to echo what Andy said, it was a really weird fight to commentate on, because it was like Corey, for me, was winning the rounds, yet he was getting these points taken off, and it was just a frustrating situation. Clearly wasn't spitting it out.
Also so distracting for fighters.
Yeah, let's be honest. Corey would have got the shout if he didn't get the points taken off him. So now he wants to right that wrong. He feels embarrassed that has happened. But Jimmy First has put he's one of those guys where once you've seen him once, you actually know what to expect.
Well, he's 42 years old, 42? And he describes himself as the oldest prospect in boxing. But as Andy Clark just said there, he looks in good shape.
Listen, I saw him. I was on holiday. I saw this guy walking through queue. I'm thinking, that looks like Jimmy First. And I said, Jimmy First.
You think he turned to you and went, that looks like Johnny Nelson?
Probably. But he was out there sparring. Well, you wouldn't believe it. 42 years old, he's taking himself all the way out of Cuba, all the way around the world to spar with the best. So trust me, he's not just here to make a bit of coin. He loves the sport to the point where he's showing commitment to do things like that. I was so surprised.
Tried to have a little laugh as well yesterday as Jimmy First bought some super glue, didn't he, to the press conference and tried to give that to Corey, but Corey wasn't having any of it, was he really, yesterday?
No, I don't think he's seen the funny side, did he?
No.
You know, because he got the loss of his career, didn't he? And, you know, it's not a laughing matter for him, and he wants to avenge that.
What kind of fight do you think it'll turn into tomorrow night in this one?
I expect Corey to box well tomorrow. You know, he said that he couldn't get any rhythm or flow in his work because it kept, you know, the gum shield kept coming out, and there was no.
But I guess once you've made that mistake, that is not going to happen again in your boxing career.
Well, I'd be absolutely flabbergasted if it did.
I mean, you really would hope not, wouldn't you? It was strange to watch at the time, though. Why couldn't he just clamp his mouth shut and keep the mouthpiece in? It was so odd.
All right, well, let's hear from Jimmy first. First, he's with Andy Scott.
Jimmy, you've got bragging rights in this one. Big question, is it repeat or revenge? I'm sure you're thinking it's going to be repeat. Why?
Only repeat. I'm here to do the double, and in emphatic fashion, and because this time I've had a full 4-week camp. Joking aside, you know, I'm always ready, and you know, you saw what I could do on 10 days' notice. This time, 4 weeks. I fought 8 weeks ago as well. I'm fresh and I'm ready.
In the nicest possible way, you're doing it for all the veterans out there. You worked hard to get on this platform. I know you've already said to Ben Schlom, I want to stay.
Absolutely, I'm here to stay. I've done my apprenticeship on the small hall shows, and you know, you'll see Saturday night why I'm meant to be here.
Jimmy, good luck. Corey Gibbs is with us. Corey, you come in. I mean, all the talk, you know, you can't get away from it. It's about the gum shield. That aside, do you believe that you can revenge this?
Yeah, no interruptions this time. Everything's done properly. I've been professional this time. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely get the win and do it in style.
Just a chance to put that behind you?
Yeah, of course. That's in the past now. It's done. So, obviously, all the training's been done. Weight's been made. All that's left to do now is get the win on Saturday night, and I will do that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Moving along, ladies and gentlemen, to the light heavyweight division, 8 3-minute rounds tomorrow night here in Birmingham at the Resorts World Arena. Introducing first to the scales. He comes to us with a professional record of 20 victories versus 6 defeats, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Portsmouth, England, here is Joel El Toro McIntyre.
He'll be absolutely hot, because now this guy's had time to prepare to get him with him.
Start of the show. Never worry, that is the way that I roll. I'm a bad man. What is it? Let me say again. You can try copy like a slave to a trend. Nothing they can.
Official weight 12 stone, 10 pounds, 5 ounces for El Toro.
8 rounds the light heavyweight between Shakan Pitters and Joel McIntyre. Shakan Pitters, of course, is back in action after losing his British title to Dan Aziz. That was last year, Matt. But what are you looking to see from Shakan Pitters tomorrow night?
Yeah, just a solid performance and a good win. He needs to just prove to us that loss, he hasn't let it affect his confidence and self-belief. Okay, he came up short against Dan Aziz, but I think what Dan Aziz has gone on to achieve since then, become European champion, that should give Shakan confidence.
I'm always baffled when I see him thinking, he's bigger than most heavyweights. How's he 12 and a half, 12-7? How is that possible?
The same thing.
Rounds for Shakan Pitters.
It is pretty remarkable how he packs it into that frame, but I really like this fight because this is a really good example of what we were talking about at the top, whereby Shakan Pitters is the home guy. He's expected to win this fight, but if he's not quite on it, Joel McIntyre will give it to him
and capitalise on it
because he's been English champion a couple of times. People will look at his record. He got stopped early by Lyndon Arthur a couple of fights ago, and at that point I kind of wondered maybe he's on the fade a bit, but then he did 10 tough rounds with Ricky Summers, and we know Ricky, he's a good solid fighter. Lost his English title, but I think he's got plenty left, McIntyre. And like I say, if Pitters in any way feels like this is going to be an easy-ish night, and he manages to get inside that jab, then McIntyre could cause him big problems.
I think it's a well-matched fight, 2 former English champions. These guys have still got ambitions, appetite to do something in our game. So one will be left behind, one will head up, carry on tracing his dreams.
And perhaps a fight that someone like Ben Whittaker might have his eye on as well.
He's got to. Ben Whittaker's got to think about all these kind of guys in and not dismiss them.
We'll just take a moment though to acknowledge how exciting domestically as well the light heavyweight division is. It's thriving, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant division. Probably the strongest in the UK, I'd say, strength in depth. Because these are not quite that top tier domestically. They've been beaten at Dan Aziz, beat Shakan, but he has been British champion. I'm sure he'd love to be British champion again. Obviously the belts are tied up at the minute, but if they got fragmented and came loose, he'd love to get another crack at it, I would guess.
And some exciting fights at this level out there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Shakan wants to get back in at that kind of British title level as quick as he can. I remember, he won the title. They gave him the big build-up on Channel 5. He then took on Craig Richards, and it didn't go well for him that night. But he's looking to try and get back up there.
Okay, let's hear from Joel and Shakan now with Andy Scott. Joel first.
Joel, first things first. A lot of people, style-wise, picking this to be one of the fights of the night. Do you agree with that?
I think so, absolutely. Yeah. I'm always ready to fight. It's not a secret. I'm not exactly a slick boxer. I come forward and I want to fight and I look for the knockout.
He had his trainers on there. That was obvious to see. But he is. Can't get away from the fact he is a tall man, the height and reach. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's just the same as anyone, man. There's ways, we got to react to different things and just deal with it on the night. It is what it is.
Good luck. Let's bring Shakan Pitters in as well. With the trainers on, Shaq. Still with the trainers.
Without trainers, I'm good, man.
Exactly. Those of you who didn't hear that, even with the trainers, he's a tall man. I mean, the first question is, everybody always raises an eyebrow. Just shows your hard work and dedication to squeeze everything in that frame.
Yeah, 100%. I train hard for every opponent, so on the night it's a lot easier job for me. Joe's a decent opponent, and I know what I got to do to just get the win and do what I got to do.
He was very honest there. He said, I'm not the slickest of boxers, but you know what I'm coming to do. So how do you counteract that?
Just be on my game and be at the best of me. I know I'm a slick boxer. I'm a good boxer. I can fight. I could do it also. I believe, the best of me on the night is going to beat the best of him. But all credit to Joel, for taking a fight and being here.
Good luck to both of you. Thanks for joining us.
As you said, Johnny, Shakan Pitters is tall. He's big for a light heavy. 6 foot in those trainers. 6'1".
6'1", really?
He's 6 foot, but in those trainers.
WBO European Super Lightweight Champion.
I tell everybody I'm 6'4".
Introducing first to the
You get older with it, gets shrinking age, don't you?
6'3". Okay, 6'2.5".
Versus 2 defeats, with 6 of those wins coming by way of knockout. From right here in Birmingham, England, here is Casey Benjamin.
Now this is going to be a good fight. This if anything's going to steal fight tonight, I think this one has got it written all over.
is one of those that really could catch fire, isn't it, Matt?
I was talking to Pete Taylor and Sean McComb before, and they're bang up for it.
Yeah, well, you can see that, can't you?
Yeah, he's a good boxer, Sean McComb. He was a really good amateur. Started brilliantly as a professional. Picked up a loss in his career, tailored off a little bit, but he knows that a big win here can sort of reignite his career.
And his opponent, the champion. He comes to us with a professional record of 15 victories versus just 1 loss, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Belfast, Northern Ireland, introducing the reigning, defending WBO European Super Lightweight Champion, the public nuisance, Sean McComb.
You've got a feeling, Andy, this one's going to catch fire, and as Johnny said, as Matt said, could potentially steal the show.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight, this, and there's a lot on the line here for Sean McComb, because he was at lightweight, then he had a fight with Gavin Gwynn, who's now British champion, has been for a while, and he got stopped in the 7th round, and he quit. There's just no other way to say it. It's not a word I like to use, but he did. And since then he's moved up to super lightweight, and that will follow him around, won't it? And the next time he's in a really hard fight, people will ask that question of him. His opponents more like it, won't they? They'll feel like if they can take him there, then they can make him do that again, and he's got to prove to us the next time we see him in one that that's not going to happen.
Although I'm not sure Casey Benjamin's necessarily got the style to do that. He's more of a stand-back boxer, puncher, and if this is a boxing match, you know, McComb might be a little bit too slick for him. I don't know. It's an interesting fight.
What was your assessment of Benjamin's performance against Dalton Smith? Because we saw some flashes there, didn't we?
I thought he did really well. I thought he showed he can compete at that level, but I was disappointed that he didn't push harder to try and win at that level.
And I get that, but I think that was a below par Dalton Smith.
I agree with that as well.
Dalton Smith says that himself. So I think that was a false representation of Benjamin and Dalton Smith. So now we'll probably see how good he really is. I think that might have been his level. If he was ever a chance to beat Dalton Smith, it was then. Has he got much better than in him than that fight? We don't know. This fight could tell us that. Because when you know a fighter's got quit in him, if you're an opponent of a fighter that's got quit in him, no matter what, you're always going to think, I ain't got quit in me. I've got the beat in me. Which might
so before you get in the ring, you know you've got the sort of mental advantage.
That's right. So that's why that might fire him up even more, because it's just an unwritten rule with most fighters.
What's it going to come down to, Andy? Neither of them are giving in this one.
No, I think, you know, McComb was a good amateur. He's a southpaw. He's a good mover. He's got good technical skills. Casey Benjamin's got that kind of stuttery style almost, where he can launch himself from the outside. And I think it might take a little bit of time to really catch fire this fight, because there's a lot on line here for both of them. I feel like, particularly
from McComb. Do you think it could be a bit of a cagey start?
Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah, I think it could be. And
yeah, I agree with that.
And with Casey, he talked about that fight against Dalton Smith. Dalton's not going to hang on to that belt for much longer. He's got another fight scheduled. He wants to win it outright, I think, and then he's going to move on. And so that could become.
I agree with Johnny too. I think Dalton Smith was below par that night too. As good as Casey Benjamin boxed, I thought Dalton Smith wasn't quite at the races as he normally would be.
Yeah, I mean, if that belt does become vacant, he'll definitely feel like he's good enough to win it.
McCown's got that WBO European title belt, and there's no mistake. This is not the European title belt that most of us are familiar with. It's a chance to get him in the mix and get his name mentioned, to get himself up the European rankings. But on a European level, the European title, the EV title, that's the one that gets the world honours.
And a chance to do it on this platform as well, in front of the TV cameras, which is what every fighter wants to do. All right, let's hear from both fighters there with Andy Scott.
Sean, final thoughts ahead of this one. Set it up for us. We're all looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's, as I said before, it's got the makings of a great fight. 2 good records, 50-50 fight, all for a nice shiny belt, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you worked hard to win the belt. I'm sure you're going to be desperate to keep it.
Yeah, exactly it, and that will show my performance.
Got a message for everyone watching back home?
Bang, bang, gravy chip.
Good luck to you. Let's bring up Casey Benjamin. Casey, well done inside the limit. You look delighted, I know you are. Just set it up for us ahead of tomorrow night.
I'm looking to put on a good performance in front of all my fans in my hometown. And yeah, hopefully he comes to fight and obviously make a exciting fight for the fans.
Just finally, we know you're a Blue. We know most of your football supporters are also Blue as well. Just a message to everybody.
Keep right on. Come on, you Zulus.
Good luck.
And now, the light heavyweight division once again, 6 3-minute rounds. Live here in Birmingham tomorrow night, presented by Boxer on Sky Sports. Introducing first to the scales. He comes to us with a professional record of 6 victories versus 3 defeats. Fighting out of Hamilton, Scotland, introducing the Game, Jordan Grant.
Looking forward to this one, Johnny. Jordan Grant takes on Ben Whittaker. Of course, Ben Whittaker turned pro again to quite a fanfare, a lot of excitement around him. But he's had a frustrating start, to say the least, hasn't he? 2 fights and then a 9-month layoff due to injury. Luckily, no surgery, but surely he'll be raring to go and get back in the mix tomorrow night.
And even though he was respectful yesterday at the press conference, he said, I'm going to give myself an honest approach, be very honest and authentic about how I'm going to fight. Is he going to give it all? He knows he's in there up against it. So as far as he's concerned, I'm getting excited with this calling. As far as he's concerned, it's a hard fight, but a beatable fight. He's got to G himself up, give himself an excuse to fight dig deeper than he ever has, because he knows this is a very hard fight for him.
We spoke about it at the top, Andy, about when you have a layoff, and like I said, a frustrating start that Ben's had to his professional career. There could be a danger of trying that little bit too hard. In his pro debut, we saw the skills, didn't we? We saw the flair, showboating. His second professional fight, he wasn't happy at all with his performance. We asked him yesterday, what are we going to see? He said, whatever Ben wakes up in the morning. What do you think we're going to see from Ben tomorrow evening?
He looks fantastic.
Doesn't he?
On the scales. And this is a strict 12.5 stone, so he's inside the light heavyweight limit, so it's really good to get into that habit early on, just making your actual weight. I'm just really curious to see what differences we see between him now and we saw last August. He's been with Sugar Hill for a good while.
And he says he's used the layoff to his advantage in terms of working on things.
Sugar Hill is all about that Kronk style. Set your feet, slow things down, punch hard. And that is really what I want to see from him. Just some evidence of that. We know he's got the reflexes. We know he's got the movement. He's got to make sure he maintains all of that. But just a bit more of an adaptation to a pro style. Because this is kind of like a second debut for him in a way, isn't it, with the amount of time that he's been out. But physically, I think he looks a bit different there. I don't know what you guys think.
What do you think, Matt? How do you think Ben looks?
I think he looks good. He looks in great shape. Good to see him coming in on the limit or just under it. That'll, fare well to him as he progresses through his career. Blowing up and weight ain't a good thing. He's slick, isn't he? He's a slick fighter. He's got great elusive upper body movement, good feet as well. He can switch.
Do you see Jordan Grant causing many problems tomorrow?
No, I think he'll be willing, and I think he'll try his best. He'll be aggressive, but I think he's just going to play into Ben Whittaker's hands even more so.
Do you like what Ben Whittaker does in terms of, put into context, this is just his third professional fight, but yet he is calling people out straight away. Like I said at the top, is he a polar opposite, isn't it, to Joshua Buatsi? Are you a fan of that?
And I like everything about him. I like the fact that we're talking about him in the same breath as Joshua Buatsi, even though it's nowhere near that yet in regards to professional experience. He understands the outside game, the outside of the boxing game, to self-promote, to get yourself into into people's brains one way or another. Everything this young man is doing is right. What the only problem is getting that it's got to be injury-free. And as long as he keeps fighting, keeps being the fighter he is, he will be a potential superstar.
Important to keep active. We always talk about momentum, but how hard do you think it is going to be matching someone like Ben Whittaker?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. I mentioned Ricky Summers earlier on, English champion, West Midlands fighter. I'm sure he would fancy it because the money for fighting Ben is there, isn't it, if you're someone like him?
Right, Jordan Grant is ready and waiting with Andy Scott. Let's hear from him.
Jordan, fair to say you're here to win, you're here to change your life and your family's life. Just how confident are you now you've looked into his eyes?
Listen, the hard work's been done. It's just time to go now. We'll go and refuel, and I've no much to say. I just want to get in there and fight now.
Fair to say you're two very different characters?
Very different, very different.
You got a final message?
No, just enjoy it. It's going to be a good one.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Benzo is back. Let's join him up on stage. I mean, I'm sure 9 months you've been counting down every single day to tomorrow night, one step closer. How did you feel making the weight again?
Hey, man, the work's done. The talking's done. It's work tired tomorrow.
Can you let us in a little bit? What are the emotions at the moment, and when will that sort of switch flick into fight mode, or are we there now?
Switched already, man. You can see it in my eyes. There's no games, man. There's no games. So tomorrow, you see why I'm different.
Big platform needs a big star. Tell us why that's you.
Hey, man, you seen the body up there. I'm different to these type of guys, man, so you'll see why.
You can tease it a little bit. I think we got some special shorts and a special ring walk to match. Is that fair to say?
Hey, man, listen, I don't want to give away all the gems, but tune in tomorrow. Make sure you got your tickets. If not, watch it on Sky Sports, and you'll be impressed.
Thanks for the plug. Go well.
It feels like when you got Ben Whittaker out there, you kind of don't need us. He sort of just sells himself.
It's a PR's dream, isn't it?
Straight down the barrel of the camera.
Just roll the camera.
Exactly.
10 3-minute rounds to crown an EEU European middleweight champion. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us with a professional record of 17 victories versus 3 defeats and 2 draws. Fighting out of Wythenshawe, England, here is Macaulay McGowan.
Say it again, Johnny, but another good fight, this one.
Another good fight. I felt so sorry for him over in France, where they robbed him, really. I think he walked away with the draw, but they robbed him.
Farhad Saeed in Paris.
Yeah, and he actually showed a good account of himself. And I actually think in the fight itself, he actually didn't realise the good work he was doing and let him off the hook a few times. Good fighter.
But how much do you learn as a fighter going to Paris and being involved in those sort of situations?
I know this is wrong to say, but as a fighter, when you go to France, Italy, places like that, you say you've got to knock them out to get a draw. So you know you won, it's just not official. But you make sure it never happens again, and you're going to give it all. So that's why you can't afford to lose this against Tyler Denny, because it kind of cements what happened in France, to say, well, this is your level, this is where you are.
Matt, a fight that you like as well?
Oh, definitely. Macaulay McGowan is easy to win. They
you saw
don't
that
know
yesterday
how
at
to.
the presser, didn't you? I mean, Savage Dan asked him a couple of questions about his fight with Sergio Martinez, and he just didn't want to talk about it, did he? He was like, nah, done talking,
On to the next
move on.
one.
Yeah.
On to the next one. And Tyler Denny's really impressed us recently on Sky Sports, where he's had that run where he's just taking everyone's O. He's the O stealer, isn't he, of these undefeated fighters? So, I mean, that is a 50-50 fight. Could go either way.
Who are you fancying this one? I shouldn't really ask you that question, should I, Andy? Because you've got to commentate on it.
I like it as a fight. I
I've
really
taken that
do.
hat off just for a second.
Macaulay McGowan he's shown us plenty since he's come back into boxing, and the draw in Paris was unfortunate, but if you're going to get robbed on TV. Everybody knows what happened. It didn't really do him too much harm, and he's got another opportunity here. And against Denny, Tyler was put into a British title final eliminator against Kieran Conway, which he didn't fancy, and I can understand why he didn't. But for McGowan, if you can beat Tyler Denny, that's where he is. That will then put you into the picture at British title level, which is ultimately his ambition. For Tyler, I know that they were chasing Matteo Signani around, I'm pretty sure, the European champion. Denzel Bentley's chasing him, Felix Cash, everybody's running around after the 42-year-old Italian. They all fancy him for the European title. So this maybe wasn't the fight that he was hoping for, but he's just got to make sure that
There's a lot on the line for both fighters.
he cannot take his eye off the ball here, or it undoes all the good work he's done over the last couple of years.
Which could add that extra bit of spice, Johnny.
McGowan's the kind of fighter that looks like he's constantly got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
How he talks, how he stands, how he how he presents himself, and that's probably what you need in this fight game.
Seems to be working well with Joe Gallagher.
Yeah, talking about chips on the shoulder.
But
there's power in that, that us against the world mentality, siege mentality, and especially now he's back in champs camp in my side as well. It's that team camaraderie, everyone's against us mentality, and there's power in that.
And so if you ever need inspiring for a chip on your shoulder, Joe Gallagher's gym's a place to go. That's what Matt's saying. But Tyler Denny, I think he can be easily underestimated because he's rugged.
Not giving him this, Tyler Denny,
unbelievably fit. He doesn't give up, and so therefore you look and think, I can do this, I can walk through this fight, and you can't. He's just there.
So what's it going to come down to? Is it going to be a case of who wants it more? Do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and largely it might come down to that. We were talking about this yesterday and how boxing's one of the, not the only sport left, but in a lot of other sports, the physicality's been taken out of it a bit by rule changes. Boxing, absolutely not. So when it gets really down and dirty and hard, it does still come down to that. He's difficult, Denny, though, because he's that kind of awkward, muscular, sort of chisel-y southpaw. He's just not nice to fight.
Macaulay's with Andy. Let's hear from him.
Macaulay, back on the road, back in the deep end once again. You wouldn't want it any other way, would you?
Yeah, snipe it out now on all digital platforms, yeah. No, I'm ready, man. Ready, I can't wait.
I mean, we were all there in Paris. We know what happened. Probably got very, very unlucky. Have you just had to shake that off and go again?
Yeah, Paris was done the day I got home. I'm fortunate to have a manager and trainer like I have. Didn't let it deter me. I was straight back on it. I know that I'm grateful for that, and other people aren't as fortunate to be in a position just to be able to dust it off and go again. But I am, and I have done, and I've got this opportunity now and looking to take that belt home tomorrow night.
Can you give us a final prediction?
Listen, I'm not here to start making predictions. I'm going to win, but you know what I train to do. So there's no point in me. It's like Haaland coming on and saying, I'm going to score goals on Saturday. Of course we know you're going to score goals. That's what we pay to watch. So you know what's happening.
We'll give you a guard of honour at the end. Let's bring Tyler Denny up as well. Thanks, Macaulay. You can go. Tyler, I mean, you're on this run. You must feel full of confidence at the moment. Set it up for us. Your final thoughts ahead of tomorrow.
I'm buzzing, man. Buzzing to be here in Birmingham on Sky Sports and looking to put in a real dominant performance.
How highly do you rate Macaulay McGowan, and what have you got to do to beat him?
I rate him highly, man. I've got a lot of respect for him, but I just rate myself higher, and I'm willing to show it tomorrow night.
Good luck.
Right, nice one. Thank you.
One more time for our championship contenders, Macaulay McGowan and Tyler Denny.
Very different personalities. Macaulay McGowan very much just says it how it is, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And then Tyler Denny's kind of very smiley, unassuming, just quietly confident.
And Sky Sports and our relationship with the British Boxing Board of Control are honored to crown the first ever British Women's Championship, specifically in the welterweight division. 10 2-minute rounds right here in Birmingham tomorrow night. Introducing first, our first challenger. From Pensnet, England, she holds a professional record of 7 victories versus 3 defeats, with 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout. She is known as Bavo. Here's Kirsty Babington.
I'm so hard-headed at first.
Going to be quite a moment tomorrow night in this one. The first ever British Championship for women tomorrow night. Just put into context, Andy, what this means. I mean, we've spoken about it a fair bit now, but it's moving that dial, isn't it? And one little nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, it really is, because the board have been very strict about this, because they felt that until now that the depth wasn't really there to justify a British title being awarded in any division, because you need at least like 8 strong fighters for them really to make it worthwhile or worthy of them giving out this Lonsdale belt. We've seen the belt; it's absolutely beautiful,
as it always is with the Lonsdale belt, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one was given out in 1909 at lightweight to Freddie Welsh, and they haven't really changed the design for this one. The ribbon's
slightly different colours.
Yeah, the ribbon's slightly different, but other than that, it's the same. So this is it's a huge honour for these two, definitely.
For Lauren Bryce, she said at the press conference yesterday, a chance for her to make a little bit more history. Already a decorated amateur, Olympic gold medalist. It's been so far so good in a professional career. But in Kirsty Babington, a little bit of a step up for her in terms of Kirsty has more experience as well tonight.
Yes, you got the experience, but when you're boxing for a Lonsdale belt, especially on this occasion here being the first It just gives you that little bit of something that you probably don't usually have when you're walking in. So Badminton will box out of her skin because she knows, you know what, this is a big deal. She understands the target in front of her. She understands how hard the task is going to be. So it's actually, if there's going to be an easy way, that's the easy way because you know the task in front of you is tough. And so this fight, I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued to see how it rolls out. If they're out there, still on stage, she can easily talk into a tear-up. And that's what I'm interested in.
Lauren's in a full professional fight tomorrow night, Matt. How impressive have you been with her so far? What do you like about her as well?
Very composed, patient, very clever. And I think she just carries that air of, there's a bit of, I don't know, regal. She just, she's a special talent. And
She's got quite a mature head on her shoulders.
I think so, yeah, I think so. I think she's going to, I think it's going to be her first of many titles.
Also got to give credit to Kirsty Babington as well. I was having a quick chat with her before this weigh-in today and just talking about, because Kirsty's actually a PE teacher as well, so managing that as well as full-time training, it's not an easy juggle to do.
Those students will give her hell.
Do you know what she actually said? She said not all of them know, but some of them are starting to find out, and the ones that are finding out are wanting her to do some boxing training in the session. So she said Tuesday they've already got their lessons planned, that they want to do boxing in the PE session.
Anna, can I just comment on the belt? The Lonsdale belt that I saw. Now, I've got a Lonsdale belt, and it's like, I don't know if it's another revamped version of it, but the material on the back of it's a lot brighter. It's just, I think it's a new version of the belt. Unless I've been out of the game that long, that everybody's getting them. But that belt there, it's a new tip to it. So I don't know if it's a special edition for the girl code. I don't know, but it's absolutely good. Love that belt. Absolutely love it.
And just explain a little bit why it means so much to win the British title for fighters.
Because that is an official recognition of being the best in Britain. And it's not, you win it the first time, could be bad luck. Could be win it, you defend it the second time, okay, maybe. But when you do one and defend it against Britain's best 3 times, everybody, no matter what, you're in the history books. You are part of boxing history.
Well, you can see it up there. Ben Shalom's holding it in all its glory. He's with Kirsty Babington and Andy Scott.
Kirsty, a long face-off there. You look really up for it. You've been spending the whole week saying it's just another fight, but will you let yourself be present in this moment and let yourself be part of history? That Lonsdale belt there, the first of its kind, is up for grabs. How desperate are you to get your hands on it?
Yeah, it's a privilege to be here and it's an honour to box for the belt. So, yeah, I'm buzzing to go. All the hard work's done. So I just need to put it into practice on Saturday.
You've been in with quality fighters before. You're not afraid to jump in and be matched hard. How confident are you that you've got the skills or determination or toughness to beat Lauren Price?
Yeah, I'm confident that I can do my thing and get the win. But I just need to relax on it and just take my time and not go a bit wild with everything. And you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm confident. I always am. I won't get in the ring otherwise.
Kirsty, best of luck. Let's just bring Lauren up on stage. But while we're waiting, Ben, just show that belt off. It is incredible. That's the first time you've had a chance to look at it as well. It is history in the making.
It is. It feels like you don't get many historical moments in sport, and this certainly feels like one. It's been a long time coming. Thank you to Charlie and Robert for finally getting there. And we have the first ever British title for women.
Lauren, let's bring you in. Fighting for it is one thing. Being the first to ever lift it is another. Just how confident are you? How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said earlier on in the week, it's a complete honour, to add more history as well to my name. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
You're not afraid to be moved quickly. You said when you turn pro, I don't want to wait around. This is the first real significant step. How confident are you?
Yeah, I'm more than confident. I believe in myself. I believe I'm a level above. But, I know Kirsty, she's obviously a great boxer herself. She's been there. She's European level, she's above British level. But it's a great stepping stone for me, and I'm really looking to put on a good, clean performance.
Best of luck to you. History in the making.
Carrie Sartensdale, of course, will be beside Lauren tomorrow night, and it's a busy time, always a busy household, I imagine, in their one, because one's fighting and they don't seem to have a break, then the other one is.
If your world is pure boxing, it's the best condition to be in. Eat boxing, sleep boxing, live boxing. All it can do is improve you as a fighter. Love that belt. Absolutely stunning.
we know it's new and it's got that sort of extra sparkle, isn't it?
16 grand they cost. 16 grand. I prized that information out of Charlie Giles.
What?
16 grand, gold-plated silver.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, which is why there's a sharp intake of breath at the border control whenever anybody wins one outright, because they have to have one over.
That's why they always try and stick a hard mandatory on you.
I'm in shock. I won 2 of those. I gave one of them away. 16 grand.
I knew something like
Johnny
that.
wants his money back.
You're just thinking what you could have put it on eBay for, aren't you?
Fighting out of Stepien, Poland, introducing.
It does, though, put into context how special the belt is, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. They used to be solid gold, now gold-plated silver, because that was too expensive. Because every now and again, someone wins one outright, and you get it, you get to keep it.
Official weight 12 stone, 7 pounds for Pawel Stepien.
12 stone, 7 pounds for Pawel Stepien. He takes on Joshua Buatsi, who we can see him back in the ring after a year out. And of course, it is the return of Joshua Buatsi back on Sky Sports as well. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectation on the shoulders of Joshua Buatsi, because we all want to see what he's going to do tomorrow night.
So someone's saying he needed a softer touching after being out for so long. I don't believe that. I think Joshua Buatsi is a world-class fighter. He's in with a world-class opposition.
And also Buatsi, he wouldn't be happy with that, would he? He wouldn't want a softer touch.
Without that, Callum Smith should have boxed this guy. And for one reason or another, it fell through. It's the first time he's boxed out of Poland, but trust me, he's got a great amateur pedigree, coming through as well as a professional, still unbeaten. This is that fight to say, well, I belong at this level, so why are you saying that, there's no soft touches here.
But he is known around the world as the former British and WBA Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion and Olympic bronze medalist, Joshua Buatsi. Official weight 12 stone, 6 pounds for Joshua Buatsi.
12 stone 6 for Joshua Buatsi. Looks in exceptional shape, Matt.
Yeah, as always, consummate professional. Didn't expect anything other than that.
And smiles on the scales, which is going to be a different story tomorrow night. And of course, that beard as well is going to come off. That is tradition that has never left Joshua Buatsi. We always see the beard when he steps on the scales. Come fight night, that's gone. Much to his, but his mum doesn't like the beard.
I think that's symbolic for the transformation of Joshua Buatsi, the nice gentleman, to the animal inside the ring.
This is his 4th fight with Virgil Hunter for Joshua Buatsi. How well do you think that partnership is working out?
I think it's working well. I think against Craig Richards you could see real signs there. I felt like he dropped his height a little bit. He sunk his head into his shoulders a bit more, got his hands up a little bit higher, and he was definitely harder to hit. He can crack, we absolutely know that. And I think quite a big moment for Stepien will be the first time that Buatsi catches him, because one thing you notice about him, this might sound like a bit of an odd thing to say, he's got quite a long neck, Pawel Stepien, and holding a shot when you've got a long neck, it's different, isn't it? And I think the first time that Buatsi really catches him, it's always a big moment in the fight. The Stepien, I like him, but he's never been in with anybody like him. That's just a fact.
That's a good call, and it's a great observation as well. I'm surprised you picked that, so you don't actually box, but that's a good call. That's what you look for. You look at the length of the neck, you look at the length of the arms.
Is that a backhanded compliment?
It's a nice kind of backhanded compliment. What I'm saying is, I'm thinking, how did you figure that one out? That's like in-house conversation. So, because when you get a fighter like that, you know his chin's going to go up at some point. You know his chin's there to be popped at. You've got to be sneaky, you've got to be crafty when you go for it. Because if you make it obvious, then they know exactly that they know you've got the number.
We haven't seen Buatsi for a bit, but do you think there's still plenty more to come from Joshua Buatsi?
Yeah, because I think he'll see the best of him when he is more active and there's a bit of momentum going, and he's in those bigger fights like for the world title fights. I think that's when we'll see the best of him. We have to see the best of him when his back's up against the wall. I think that's when we'll really see the best of him.
Some real intent in this face-off between Buatsi and Stepien. Can you see this one go in the distance?
personally, no, because I think Stepien will be. I think he's a good choice of opponent. He was originally chosen for Callum Smith, so that shows you where people think he is. But the idea wasn't that he was going to go and cause Callum a load of problems, and I don't think he would have done. He will be aggressive. He will look to throw combinations. He does like to stay pretty tight to his opponent, so I think it will be good to watch. He's not going to get in there, get up on his toes and run, because that's the last thing you need if you're Joshua Buatsi. So I think it'll be a good watch, and yeah, we'll see what Stepien's got at this kind of level, because I'm still very confident in Buatsi that he's going to deliver what he should do given his ability, but the time's upon us, isn't it?
What do you think we need to see from Joshua tomorrow night?
Be the guy that we've all got Gideon excited about. Be that mini Evander Holyfield-esque style of fighter. He's got fight, he's got bite, he's got hunger. Just be himself. Go and pick up where you left off. You see that, we can get Gideon excited about him all over again.
Okay, let's hear from both fighters. Pawel Stepien first with Andy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pawel Stepien joins us now. Jacek is here to help translate your first time outside of Poland, a very intense, long head-to-head. What was going through your mind there and how confident are you?
Paweł, pierwszy raz będziesz boksował za granicą poza Polską. Jak jesteś pewny siebie?
Czuję się bardzo dobrze, jestem pewny siebie, jestem dobrze przygotowany. Także czekam z niecierpliwością, cieszę się, że mogę uczestniczyć na tak dużej gali i czekamy do jutra.
I feel very well, I'm well prepared, I am very self-confident and I'm very happy that I'm here on such a big show and I just can't wait.
Just finally, how do you win this fight? By points or by knockout, or does it matter?
Jak wygrać tę walkę? Na punkty, przez knockout, czy nie ma to żadnego znaczenia?
Nie ma to dla mnie żadnego znaczenia. Chcę pokazać dobry boks i wygrać walkę, po to tu przyjechałem.
It doesn't matter. I just want to show you good boxing and I came here to win.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jacek. Thank you very much. Let's bring Joshua Buatsi up onto the stage. Josh, you've had to wait a hell of a long time for this. I saw a real big smile as you made your way up onto the stage there to weigh in. Just talk us through how you're feeling now.
I'm excited, man. The hard work's been done. 24 hours or so to go, so I'm ready. It's taken a while, man, but we're over it now, so I'm looking forward to it.
He said, it doesn't matter how I win, I am here to win. That's the first time we've really heard him say that. Presumably you're not surprised, but what did you see when you looked into his eyes on the scales there?
I'm bothered. We've got 10 rounds to settle this, so let's go.
Have you got a final message for everybody? What sort of performance do you want to produce yourself?
Let's just tune in to find out, Andy.
Thank you very much and good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Buatsi.
Joshua Buatsi there, in a buoyant mood, very confident ahead of his return to the ring tomorrow night, Andy.
Yeah, I think he's just itching to get back in there. It's totally understandable. It's been a long time away. Lots of frustrations with contractual issues to deal with and all that kind of thing. And fighters just want to fight, really. And he's spoken about how pleased he is to be back on this platform. And he knows that not too much time has been wasted because the belts have been tied up with Bivol and Beterbiev, having all four of them between them. So it's not like there have been loads of opportunities that he could have taken that he hasn't, despite the back and forth between him and Eddie about Bivol. But he needs to get back on track and get moving.
We haven't seen him in the ring for a bit, but Buatsi yesterday ranked himself as number one in the UK map. What's your top three currently at the moment?
I would have said he was number one if he'd have been more active. I mean, when other guys win and perform and look good, and he hasn't boxed for a year.
What about Callum though?
Yeah, Callum's up there too. I mean, you're splitting hairs really among the guys. Callum's proven at world level. He's stepped up to light heavyweight. He's knocking on that door. But Buatsi, I said it from day dot when he was turning pro in the early days. I think this guy's going to be a light heavyweight world champion, and not one of those that just wins lucky to get one. I think he's going to win one and defend it and be a solid world champion.
But that's exactly why the importance then is placed on getting Buatsi out there as quickly as possible, I guess, after tomorrow night, to follow on from what Matt was saying.
It's frustration, not just for Buatsi, but also for his fans as well. Also for people that are in the game, because they know how talented he really is. And it'd be such a crying shame if he didn't even get a world title shot, never mind, end up being a world champion. So now, every fight's a risky fight, but what you see in that young man on there, you see world champion written all over him. So now that consistency is the most important thing, because if he's not consistent, I can see a dream fail.
Is there a slight danger though that Buatsi could overlook Stepien tomorrow night?
No, I really don't think so.
Think so.
No, I really don't. I think he's super focused. I don't see that happening at all. He knows what's at stake here. He really does. The rankings thing is really interesting, and the way I kind of do mine, I'd actually have him at number 3.
Okay.
I'd have
and
Callum
your number 1 and 2 would be?
I'd have Callum at 1 because he was the world champion at super middle. He flattened a world title challenger in Leonard Castillo.
Yeah.
Took out Matthew Bowderleague, and I'd have Anthony Yard at number 2 because he's had 2 world title fights and he's acquitted himself well. So Joshua wouldn't really like that, him being put at number 3, but my kind of reason for it would be you're number 3. Look at on paper, you're number 3. Fight Anthony Yard.
They're more
Anthony Yard.
They've been more active. They're more proven, as in he's, like I said, Callum's won a world title at super middle. He's up at light heavy, but it's an opinion.
I get it.
But I think Buatsi's mustard when he's on song. He's been inactive. I don't think complacency or looking past it will be a thing. I think the biggest worry tomorrow is that he tries too hard to put on an amazing performance instead of just focusing on getting the job done. And you probably will put on the amazing performance. Do you know what I mean? I think just establish the jab and let everything else just flow.
But if we stick him at number 3, it's kind of like we're
still
just
going
back to 3.
we're just sticking a fork in him to say basically, come on, come on, let's.
I think
do you know what? They're all the 3 guys: Yard, Smith, Josh. You're splitting hairs. They're all top fighters.
The interesting thing will be having the same conversation tomorrow night, won't it?
Exactly.
After the fight, it's probably more relevant then. Carry on, Johnny. What you're going to say?
I'd say, on paper, you've got to say Smith is number 1.
Yeah.
Everything else there is an opinion, and that's all it's going to be until these guys are actually in with each other. So, and listen, I'm a massive fan of Yard. I'm a massive fan of Buatsi, but I can't split them. I can look at Smith and think, you know what, you proved it up there at top level. So you'd be silly to go away from him. You'd be silly to be swayed otherwise. But eventually that dance will get on. They'll all be on the same dance floor. The fight should get on as long as they all keep working in the right direction.
And the likes of Dan Aziz, who'll be with us tomorrow night, he'll be having an eye on this fight, won't he? Because that's a fight he'd very much like against Joshua Buatsi. We know they're friends, we know they've known each other a long time, they've sparred before, but do you think that could be put aside and that fight could actually happen down the line?
100%, and that's what I really like about these lads. Like Callum's got Beterbiev, and hopefully he wins that fight, and then we're on then, aren't we? Because these boys can form an orderly queue, and in the meantime, fight each other.
Which is exactly what we want to see,
fight each other for the right to fight him. I give Callum a really good chance.
I think Callum could do Beterbiev as well. I really do.
So that's taking them a commercial head off. Because on the commercial head, you wouldn't let these guys fight each other because you'd like think, right, you get this kind of talent. Now you've got the real authentic attitude of fighting, saying, nah, forget that, I want to fight you. And that's how boxing should be.
Yeah.
You get the best getting with the best to prove they are the best. But so you've got to take your commercial head off, because that's how we're going to look at it.
You just hope in this situation that politics get put to one side, don't you? And those fights can actually be made, because they're the fights that fans want to see. But before we go, fight you're most looking forward to tomorrow night, Matt?
Probably McComb and Casey Benjamin.
It's going to be good, that one. Andy?
Top of the bill for me. I just really want to see. I really want to see what Josh has got tomorrow night, because he's, he got the rave reviews after the Olympics, and rightly so. And he's not really done anything wrong as a pro. It just hasn't probably moved as quick as he might have liked. But he is. Matt's right. It's. I can understand why you would put him at 1. It's on potential more than achievement, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because he really is good.
We'll keep this conversation going tomorrow, I'm sure. Johnny?
Bar the top of the bill, I'm looking forward to the growth of Ben Whittaker. What he's going to say before the fight, during the fight, and after the fight. I love to see the beginning of a story, and then we can talk about it at the end of this story. So,
and talk about calling people out. There's no danger. Ben Whittaker, I'm sure he'll be calling everyone out should he win tomorrow night. Right, that's it from us here at the Weigh-In. The talking is done. It is all about fight night tomorrow night, live from Birmingham. We'd love your company. Join us, Sky Sports Action, Sky Sports Showcase, 7 o'clock. We'll see you there.